Well, hello and welcome into Chatterbox Reacts. Big news. Big leak? I don't know if you can call it a leak, but the Cincinnati Bengals are going to play probably their biggest rival outside of the division. The Kansas City Chiefs, not in December, not in January, but week two. Week 2 of the season. And here's our opinion on it. Me and Casey, lifelong Cincinnati Bengals fans, I think it sucks. And the reason I think it sucks, and you'll hear Casey's point here in a second, the reason I think it sucks is because September games, in my brain, I know they matter in the win-loss. I know, but they don't matter in the granular of the season. This has been one of the best rivalries in the National Football League for a better part of 3 seasons. Burrowhead, right? Joe Burrow. Patrick Mahomes has ran through everybody except for the Cincinnati Bengals. Beat them in Arrowhead to get to the Super Bowl. Played them again the next year. Went down the wire. Kind of the coming out party for the Bengals was beating the Chiefs in December. And I think everyone pegged this for a 4 p.m. slate on a Sunday sometime in December when the season was winding down. I don't think the season really... You don't get the picture of the NFL season till Thanksgiving. And there's going to be a lot of different points. There's going to be a lot of different takes that people have. I think it sucks simply because week 2, when we look at the end of the year, we're not going to be going back going, man, I wish we would have beat the Chiefs in week 2. You're going to have so many different things on your mind when you get to the end of the year. And I wish one of them was playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
I kind of understand that argument. I lean more towards the side that this is a good thing. But this is more, I say that, but this is more of a double-edged sword. Because in one way,
that's a good thing?
I'm going to lean more towards that it's a good thing. Because I think if you look at the history, the Bengals are 6-5 in September. And yes, notoriously, the first 2 weeks have been really, really bad. But Joe Burrow has been dealing with injuries or getting his appendix taken out or COVID or whatever. And to me, I thought last year, week 2 versus the Ravens, that he was almost back, but then re-injured his leg towards the end of that ball game. And it was one bad throw away against a really, really good team from winning that ball game. So for me, the reason why it's a double-edged sword is because the determination of the seeding in the AFC could be that game. And it's your week 2 game against the Kansas City Chiefs, where you win that game, you might be sitting pretty for a very long time. You'd be looking at the top of your conference for a while if you play out of the gates hot, like I expect them to. But if you lose that game, you have to sit with that, knowing that you're going to probably be in the second seed or worse for the majority of the season.
Yeah.
So that's the double-edged sword here. It's like if you lose that game, you could be looking at lower seeding and have no chance at the first seed, or you could be firmly in the first seed for the remainder of the season.
See, that's exactly the reason. Like, you're talking about seeding. I wish that it meant more. And there's 15 games after this. It's going to, in the grand scheme of things, yes, it matters. Yes, we talk about this all the time. What you do in September means just as much as December. But does it? Because once you get the big picture, once you understand, hey, we got to win this game to get there. We've been talking about the 1 seed. I'm not so worried about that. I just want the Bengals to get in the postseason because I've seen what they could do on the road. But yeah, if the Chiefs win their first 2 games against the Ravens and the Bengals, they look pretty solid to get that 1 seed. Here's what I'll say. There's going to be a lot of Bengals fans that are going to go, we always start slow. I get it, and that's true. But I'm not worried about it. I get why you guys are worried about it. I'm not worried about it because if you give me the option, hey, would you rather be the Dallas Cowboys who start out 4-0 every year, the Miami Dolphins who put up 70 points against the Broncos in September, or you could be the Bengals who go on a 10-game win streak to end the season, or you could be the Bengals that put up 40 points against the Ravens and beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium as they did on their 2-year run a couple years ago. I'd pick that. I'd pick playing your best football towards the end of the season every single time. So I'm not worried about September. The whole reason I just don't like this is because I want this game to matter. And I know that at the end of the year, we will look back at this game and go, yeah, it was important. Yeah, I wish we would have beat the Chiefs. Yeah. But man, wouldn't it have been better if we could beat them in week 16 or play them in week 16 when both teams are trying to win their division, when both teams are fighting for the 1 seed, when the game just means more. Yes, it's early billing. Yes, you're getting all these things. You're getting eyes to the NFL season as if they need them. And yeah, it gives you a week 2 game to get very excited about. But I don't know. It just I wish it would have been at the end of the year, because I wish, just like the years past, it would mean something in the grand scheme of things. And I just don't think it will when it's all said and done.
Let me give a couple more points as to why this is a good thing, and then I'll throw it back to you and we'll wrap it up here. One thing that people have been saying a lot is just the slow starts, right? This Bengals team notoriously out of the gate is not what they are in December.
Correct.
and January.
Correct.
I get that. So are the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 5-4 in September as well. They struggle as well, just as much as the Bengals do. Some of these teams, they just take a while to get going, right? That's a good thing for the Bengals, that we're catching them at a time where they might also be trying to figure themselves out. They just lost Rashee Rice, a guy that was very important to their run in the Super Bowl. I think that's a big deal. I know that they've got a couple new receivers there that they got to get chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. You catch them at the right time. Maybe they're still working on that chemistry. We'll see. The other thing, too, about this, and I think is kind of important to remember here, is that last year it was Jake Browning versus Mahomes.
Yeah.
This gives us the opportunity to have Joe Burrow versus Mahomes.
Yeah,
and
less games for him to get hurt.
Yeah, I want as many good games with Burrow as humanly possible.
I hate that idea, because that's the sentiment that Joe Burrow is going to get down at some season. And if Joe Burrow goes down similar to last year, then what the heck does the season matter? What the heck does it matter? And that's what I'll hold. And for what you're saying, I want to catch them at the wrong. You're trying to catch them at the wrong time. I don't want to catch them at the wrong time. I want to catch them at the right time. I want to catch them when they're gearing up for a Super Bowl run, when they're playing their best football, because I know we go toe-to-toe. I don't want to catch them. Oh, they didn't have Rashee Rice. Oh, it's week 2. Who cares? That's what I hate about this game over the past 3 years without the Jake Browning one. So the four games that we played in 2021 and 2022, those games were incredibly important for not just the Cincinnati Bengals, for not just the Kansas City Chiefs, but for the NFL as a whole. And we're burying the lead by playing them in week 2. And that's what it comes down to. I'm not worried about Joe Burrow being hurt or healthy. He'll more than likely be healthy. He's only got 1 game to play where he could possibly get hurt. But if he gets hurt at the end of the year, what's it matter anyways? And I'm not worried about the Bengals starting slow, because I want them to play their best football at the end of the year anyways. I just hate the fact that we're going to play one of our biggest rivals at the beginning of the year. And both teams are going to be completely different by the time they get in the postseason. And that's the other thing, is if we do play them in the postseason again, which, as we know, if you want to get to the Super Bowl, you're probably going to have to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. As every year that Patrick Mahomes has been in the league, they've gotten to the AFC Championship game. So I want to be more familiar with the team. No team is the same as they were in week 2 as they are in week 20. And I just want a little familiarity.
I do also, this just sparked something in my mind that you said, the notion of Joe Burrow being hurt. What he said in his press conference about his wrist and how he needs to rest his wrist and whatnot.
It's got to grow.
The bone's got to grow, right? That also, too, kind of plays a factor in my mind as well when we're talking about when they play games. Like, I'm hoping that we don't know what the wrist is going to look like moving forward. Right. Hopefully, we can catch, if it does end up deteriorating towards the end of the season, I'd rather us get best of Joe Burrow now than waste it later. But that's all I got to say about this.
All right, let us know. Put it in the comments. What do you guys think about the Bengals playing the Chiefs week 2? Are you scared that it's early in the year and the Bengals start slow? Are you excited that we got a marquee game in week 2? Or are you like me, that you just want the game to mean a little more? I don't think that's a bad take to have. Like the stream. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Chatterbox Reacts.